Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast One Piece reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
This is One Piece, episode 405. Leave a like, subscribe, let's get right into it. Patreon, uncuts, early, etc. Link to the description, top of the description, top of the morning. Let's go.
He didn't even say where he wanted to go. He didn't even give him the chance. God. Oh, Chopper.
Oh, Chopper.
Immediately. 3 days and 3 nights. Damn. He's in the calm belt. Could you imagine? He just fast-tracked him to Fishman Island.
What if he sent him to like Whitebeard's ship and then we'll like meet up with him in the midst of battle?
That would be crazy.
That would be so insane.
Is he gonna get everyone else?
Soga King, you see that?
I like how it recognizes him. I wonder if he turns around if it won't.
Well, that's not Soga King.
Yeah. Oh. Get lost. Did it just get dark all of a sudden? It's not his ally.
I think it was just dramatic, yeah. Oh, Jesus. What if you just send him back to the ship? Like
That'd
our
be
ship?
sick.
I love Luffy calling out the orders.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going anywhere. Well, you might be going somewhere.
He's gonna send them to the ship.
Oh, Brook.
Kuma's like, can everyone just fucking relax? My god, I'm sending you back to your boat.
I don't know if that's from them flying through or if he's just breaking the sound barrier by how fast he's throwing people.
I'm not sure. I think it might just be showing it because that's what happens to the bubbles, but I don't know.
Oh.
Oh. Does it have a recharge on it or something? Or do you just not want to do it to him?
At least you're all going in the same direction.
I mean, maybe they are. We don't really know. What's this gonna do to Luffy?
Yeah.
Like, is he gonna have a fucking mental breakdown because he thinks everybody's dead? It's like Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight in the background. He even like did the Obi-Wan thing where he's like, no, I'm old Ben. What the hell was that? What in God's name was that?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I can understand it, but it's not called for. Do anything. Oh my god.
Oh! She said the thing again.
I feel so bad for Luffy.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, no, this is chill, but they're all absolutely fucking terrified. Oh my god. So fast. Your turn. Oh no. Oh yeah, Chopper. That's crazy. You just blasted him away when he's that huge, too. It's just cruel to leave him till last.
Well, he really thinks that this is like the end.
This was so long ago. Chopper. This is so long ago. It feels like a different show.
It sucks that they don't seem to have like a raw version of it even for these broadcasts. I think it's all from the broadcasts.
It's crazy how different they look now.
Mm-hmm. Hmm? Does that mean that Kuma's like sacrificing himself so they can get away? Like he's gonna not be a warlord?
He's gonna get killed after this? Damn.
Well.
I want to know what Kuma said to Rayleigh. Like if he said, like, I'm sending them here, you fix up their boat and go get them, or, you know, or what? And the whole thing of we will never meet again is like what's really interesting, you know, because we saw him before and he kind of let us off the hook, and then now he just directly helped us, but then he's like, we'll never meet again, and he seems very certain of that, you know.
Well, he'll probably be either killed or dismantled or something.
Mm-hmm. It's really sad. It's a really mean thing to do, to have they get defeated so profoundly.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's just terrible. But then you as the viewer are like, Kuma's up to something and he's actually probably helping us. But the mental toll of this is gonna have severe lasting consequences, specifically for Luffy, but also for everyone. Like Zoro, even after he gets bopped away, like he's gonna be thinking like, oh my god, now I'm not there to help them. And you know what I mean? And just like everyone just feels like they failed.
That's the thing, and I think that's why the flashbacks were in the order that they were. They went like back in time, but then once we started getting to the start, like the earlier, it wasn't when Zoro joined the crew, because that wasn't as crazy of a moment.
Yeah. It was and
it wasn't when Usopp first joined, it was when he rejoined, and it was all those three were out of order, because I think they wanted to leave it off on the one with Zoro where he was defeated by Mihawk, and he said he'll never be defeated again, and because it's not true, because he couldn't keep that promise just because of how it all kind of shaked out. They failed, which is, you know, it happens. But I think that's why they left it off in that way. The toll that it takes on Luffy, because Luffy, like, this is another one, like, a similar challenge to when Usopp was leaving the crew and that whole conversation was going on. He needed to be a captain in this fight, and multiple times order retreat and try to save people when he could, and when Zoro gets hit away, he's still like, we'll figure it out later, like whatever. But it proves that he's not strong enough to as a captain to for the challenges that are ahead of them. If this is what's going to be happening in the new world, then he's probably not ready.
And they're not just going to be getting
and they're
smacked.
all not ready.
They're going to be getting
exactly.
killed. The guilt from Luffy of, like, you know, basically showing him like begging or like forcing all of these people to come along with him, and then he can't do anything to help them when it really comes down to it, when the heat is dialed up to 100. You know, there's nothing to be done. And I feel like this way of kind of executing this huge of a loss is really effective, because it's like, even though we know that everything's probably going to be okay, they're not all dead, they're not all, you know, anything, it's just, you still really feel the, like, devastation, and I feel like it's hard to create that level of impact and, like, feeling like, oh, you know, because we could just get beaten in a fight where we all just get beat up, and then it's like, oh no, we lost. But it doesn't have the same feel as something like this, where they truly believe that it's over, you know? And I don't know what it's gonna do after this, you know? Like, are they're just gonna continue on? Are they gonna, you know, have to be like, we need to get stronger? You know, what's the new, like, driving force gonna be for the crew?
I don't know, like, because it might just be, I don't know what, I think that will be, that's what they're gonna learn from this, is just that they're not ready and they need to prepare themselves. But I don't think, like, in One Piece is, like we've talked about many times, it's not the kind of show with training arcs. They're not martial artists. Even with this new aura stuff that's happening, they're not, like, studying it. They're just kind of evolving as people, and then simultaneously evolving in their ability to fight. So I think that this kind of counts double as the training in a way. Maybe they'll have some preparation, but I think what likely is going to happen is they're all gonna maybe wake up on their ship, maybe wake up somewhere nearby, or wake up on another island,
and maybe
or something.
Rayleigh will bring their ship to them. That's
if he survives. Maybe I think Rayleigh's gonna get captured. I don't think there's any way he could get out of this. Like I think that it maybe I think that we don't know, but I think that this is kind of like, you know, it's the Obi-Wan parallels are on purpose. I think that it is the same shit where Obi-Wan, haven't heard that name in a long time. I just go by Old Ben. It's Rayleigh, I haven't heard that name in a long time. I just go by Ray-san. It's the same shit. And then he's fighting, having like a laser sword battle with the fucking head honcho dude who's here, and gets left behind while they all escape. Essentially, it's pretty much bar for bar. The difference is Kuma, which is a very big difference.
It's a big wild card.
Yeah, and but it'll have, I think, the same sort of effect. To make a Star Wars parallel, it's, you know, it'll have the same sort of effect where they're all kind of defeated, and then the next step is the Death Star, and in this case, that's Mary Joy's or wherever Ace is being held. But I think that, because it's not the kind of show where there's like training arcs necessarily, I think that they're going to regroup and recenter themselves, and they'll just be stronger the next time.
This shot of the archipelago is so sick too.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this affects Luffy as a captain and what he does. I think that I think this kind of again is sort of delivering on the same thing that I wanted and was saying for hundreds of episodes before the Usopp debacle, where he left the crew, where it's like I wanted something to test them. I wanted something to like make them, and we got a lot of that with the Usopp thing. We just had it with Thriller Bark and with Zoro again. But we're having it even more, and I think I'm more interested in that in the context of Luffy's character than, like, say, Zoro's, which is why I think that as far as the character development thing, like, we didn't talk about it a lot in the discussion, the whole nothing happened thing in the podcast, because there's not really, I don't feel like there's a whole lot to say beyond what happened, you know, like with the nothing happened stuff. It's meaningful, but it's not super deep, or like there's a hidden meanings to find in it. I think outside of context from future events. In this case, this I think is more interesting to me. I think because Luffy's the main character, but because the role of a captain is more complicated than the role of a friend. Like the role of a leader is more complicated than the role of just like a buddy. The idea of being responsible for all these people is very powerful, and I wonder if, like, he'll, in the context of nothing happened, maybe he'll learn about, maybe now that they just had this conflict with Kuma, he'll have to learn about what happened with Zoro, and maybe that will change too, because then he's like, I was going along thinking everything was good, and I was blind.
And this is not only my first failure, this is my second failure.
Yeah, because Zoro had to go through that, and potentially Sanji did too. Like, one of them could have died. So if Sanji went through the shit that Zoro went through there, I don't think he would have lived. Maybe he would have. He went through a similar thing kind of with Eneru, where he got shocked like that, and it was like it wasn't to the same level, but it was the same kind of vibe to it, where he's like smoking the cigarette, he's all charred, and he just kind of tanks it. But my point is, like, with the nothing happened stuff, I think that Luffy, if he has to reckon with what happened there, because he doesn't even know about all that shit, I think, because we talked about this, and I was like, I don't think in the moment when Sanji was like, don't say anything, he's smoking the cigarette, he's walking away, don't tell Luffy, it'll only, just let it happen, and it's like, I don't think it would affect Luffy that much. I think that this is what a lot of people were like, it would definitely affect Luffy a lot. Like, obviously it would affect him somewhat, but like in this context where he's further defeated and has to face the weakness of himself as a leader, then like this will I think be more extreme. I wonder what's going to happen with Captain Kidd. Is it going to be like what I said, where he is like the other guy who's always talking about finding the One Piece and everyone laughs at him and thinks that he's dumb, and then Luffy says it, and then they have the interaction where he's like, everyone else thought that I was dumb for saying that, and they're kind of these kindred spirits, even though they're very different. They have a similar dream. I wonder if what might happen is Captain Kidd Eustace gets, and his crew maybe get taken in because they're not getting saved by Kuma.
No, Kuma
maybe they will. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But maybe they get captured and they're like a mirror to us, where it's like these guys are super badass and had a similar dream, and they're even more badass than us. Like they're like the you're like in 10th grade, they're like in 12th grade, and they're like, yeah, good going, kid. And then they get fucking destroyed, and then you have to like, oh god, these guys I thought that I really looked up to are taken in, and now I have to like carry their memory type thing. Maybe something like that will happen with them.
And even in sort of like this way of like, oh, we didn't survive because we were good. Exactly. We survived because someone else came in and held our hand and, took us through the haunted house, I don't know where that came from, but
it works for me. It works for me. I think it's the vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then similar kind of what I just said about Captain Kidd kind of applies as well to Kuma, where Kuma is like, maybe he seems to know dragon. We don't know everything about everything, but it seems like he knows dragon is somehow connected to the revolutionary stuff. He's basically sacrificing himself so that potentially sacrificing himself so that these guys get away because he believes in them on some, with the poneglyphs, with the One Piece, with Raftel, with all this shit. They maybe are the key to this next era in freeing the world from this kind of corruption. And maybe he believes in that. I don't know. All I know is this is a very big deal, even if obviously they're not going to die. I wasn't saying that to be like smug or something. I was just like, wow, like this is severe. But it's clear that this is going to have lasting impact. And I think you're right about the execution of it, that like we know, that there's Kuma's up to something, that it's not what it seems.
Yeah.
But they don't know that, and the fact that Luffy doesn't know that, I think is a big deal.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, even if in the sorry for the kind of arguing in the middle of this episode, but it's like even if he knows that they aren't like getting killed or obliterated, it's still like he's failing them, because obviously he doesn't know that potentially Kuma is sending them to like a good place and that it's better. He just thinks they're getting smacked to who knows where. Yeah. And then he'd either have to find them, or like what right would he even have to go and find them and collect them up again, if this happened. If they were all scattered to the winds and he had to go on a mission to go and get them, it's like, what's even the point if he can't protect them anymore? What's, does he deserve their loyalty, essentially, when he let this happen in the first place?
What if they get sent? So where could they potentially get sent? Let's think about that. Closest thing is their ship. The problem with the ship is it's not coded, so they can't go to Fishman Island. They can't get to the New World that way, unless they go over somehow with a coup d'event or something, if that can even send them far enough. Or some kind of superpowered launching system where they go over. So they could go to their ship. That's an easy one. It's right there, and it's far enough away where they could get away. But where are they gonna go without Rayleigh? And the ship coding, unless he just lightning fast did it, and he was like, oh, it would take 3 days normally, but I did it in an hour. Yeah. Maybe Franky can do it if he left the supplies there. He left directions, and Usopp and Franky can make it happen. But even still,
if they were on the boat, there's a guy that can move at the speed of light. So like, I feel like the boat isn't far away enough, which is why I think Kuma whispered to Rayleigh to which maybe there's an island that's not on like the track
on the logs.
That's not on the logs. And he sent them to there so that no one would stumble across them and they wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
This is what I was thinking too. If that's the case, what if it's Dragon's Island? That would be freaking crazy. I don't think so. I don't think that's likely. but because of Kuma's connection seemingly to Dragon on some level, and if there was the case where in the middle of the log tracks of islands, there's an island that is not mapped and not on that path, it just doesn't get pulled to by any of the logs if you're coming from the other islands. That would be the perfect place for a revolutionary leader to be.
What would actually
hiding out.
be cool, because I feel like we're just not at the level that like I want to really even meet Dragon yet. Like there's so many things going. What could be cool is if it was like maybe a similar thing to that, like maybe a former outpost where they like find like evidence.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that could be even cooler because it would like hype up the mystery a little bit, but we wouldn't be meeting like yet another huge player in the game right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's so many things going on that like I want more about Dragon, but I want like not him. You know, like it would be cool if we like went to an island, or we went to an island where there was some evidence of something, or like maybe
what if
they
we
just
go to
to
Dr. Vegapunk himself?
Maybe it would be kind of crazy though if they just went to an island where there was literally nothing, and then they could do literally nothing, you know, and they had to like sit in it and stew in it and like find a way to like overcome it without like the distraction of something else, you know, like I think that could be good too. And then if Rayleigh does show up on the Sunny fully coated, like, you know, however long 3 days later, however long, you know, then they've had time to like be in this defeat, but then there's like this new thing, and it's like, you know, you guys can still keep going, you know, just you know, hurry up and get, you know.
The other possible locations, Impel Down, I don't think it's likely, because why would he save them and send them to like the maximum security prison? Mary Joy's right there, could just send them there because it's on land and they can hide out. But if the thing is, why I wouldn't think that you would send them there is just because if Kuma can send them anywhere in the world, why would he send them to a more dangerous place, potentially?
Especially when everyone's like on their last legs. Like it's not like they were about to start the fight, they're all like ready to go, and then he's like, actually you guys should be over here and fight there instead. You know, it's like they're like dying.
Right. So the final place I think is Whitebeard's ship. Could be Whitebeard's ship. I don't think so, because I don't know how, but it would be interesting that if they are pulling up to Ace, and then he's like, oh, they're gonna want to do this because Kuma knows about Dragon, knows about Ace and Luffy situation. Sends them to Whitebeard's ship so that they can help. They can like gear up, meet this guy who is really powerful, knows all this stuff, maybe reconnect with Shanks, and then, you know, whatever. But and I think that is a possibility. I don't think it's likely, but it's a possibility because of Kuma whispering to Rayleigh. I don't know what he was whispering to him. Is it just like, give up, it's over, or there's something we don't know, or he's telling them where they're going? One of those three. Most likely, if I had to, like, Rayleigh didn't come back with his stuff. I think that, not overthinking it, I think he probably just sent them back to the boat, and they're just gonna get the fuck out of there. I think that's probably the simplest explanation. But if they show up somewhere else, that would be really
Kuma
crazy.
could have even preemptively gone to their boat, blasted it off somewhere, like far away, and then sent them to their boat.
Maybe, yeah.
Far, you know what I mean? Like if we're thinking like, oh, the boat's really close, you know, they might get caught right away if they're just like running away on their boat. But yeah,
he must have some way of like negating their fall damage, because if he's sending them up into the sky directly, like miles into the sky, and then right back down, like he has to have some way of negating their fall damage. And if the other thing with the boat theory, if he's sending them to the boat, Chopper's huge, and he might destroy the fucking boat, and that would suck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's only one way to find out. And that's to leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon for the next one. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.